Hello again. In the description to this video, I give a link to the BBC page which shows the front pages of all our newspapers this morning. Have a look at them. Without exception, they focus on various supposed plots by foreigners, either Russians or Iranians, to cause chaos to this country. The greatest plot of all to cause chaos in Britain, that of governments which invite almost 750,000 foreigners to settle here in a single year, hardly rates a mention. Officially, the population of Britain grew last year by 662,000, and since there were more deaths in the country than births, in itself a frightening thing by the way, this means that the whole of that growth was caused by immigration. These are immigrants we know about, of course. You can probably add at least another 100,000 or so to the figure, taking it to over 750,000 in a single year, if you take into account all the illegal immigrants, the unknown ones. You might have thought that such a shocking state of affairs, touching as it does upon every single aspect of the lives of every person in Britain, might perhaps have dominated the headlines of the newspapers this morning, but it is not so. Instead, they're full of claims that Iran or Russia are plotting to harm the interests of our country, as if anything either country did could possibly cause more harm to this nation than the importation of 750,000 foreigners last year has done. Why do I say that it affects every single one of us? It's simple. No new reservoir has been constructed in this country since 1992. Does anybody really think that things like hosepipe bans, which are even now being spoken of as winter approaches, anyone think that's not connected with an impending shortage of water? Does anybody think that you can add 750,000 new people to the National Health Service to care for without affecting us or without affecting the efficiency of the system? Is there anybody who doesn't know that adding 750,000 people here will precipitate a housing crisis, one which is likely to obliterate the Green Belt? Does anybody realise these things? When the new government came in July and immediately talked about fixing the NHS and about new housing targets, did people really not know that this is because of those 750,000 immigrants? Do the editors of our national newspapers honestly not know this? Or have they tacitly agreed to allow a non-story to dominate the headlines today, to bury the news from the Office of National Statistics? When looking at governments in this country which allow such a situation to develop, one really is having to ask whether these people are either terminally stupid and irredeemably stupid, or just plain wicked.